For those of you who've been lighting candles, there's only 24 more fucking hours in this 2020. And there's nothing more that brings you home than Clemson, Ohio State, and Brown Steelers. And we are here to bring it to you. Holly Wetzel's there. I'm Andy Billman here. It's a very, very exciting show. There's nothing more that warms the heart. It's not Christmas. It's not a Valentine's Day dinner. It is not a I love you card. It is Brown. Yeah, it could be a beer. It could be a beer. It could be a Merlot. It could be a Merlot. There's nothing more, though, than Brown Steelers. We're going to get into that rivalry. Clemson. Buckeyes.
Yep.
Some of them ranked him 11th. Not on this show. But some others did.
What an asshole. You just can't. There's no other way around it.
If there are some things that can sum up, it is Dabo Sweeney. What an asshole. And his explanation is great. It's for a complete asshole.
He's like, there's no guarantee they would win. And, he made a couple comments about the tape only being for 6 games. So it won't take them too long to go through the tape studying. It's just, one after the other. And boy, would it be fucking awesome if we just destroyed Clemson on top of all of it just to shut him up would be fantastic.
I am not a Buckeye fan, but I am a fan of sports. Clemson, Ohio State has all the juice, all the buzz for how flat college football has been. I have seen so many stories. Notre Dame's also playing Alabama. You can't find one, and I love Notre Dame football. You can't find one. You can't get enough of Clemson, Ohio State this week.
Notre Dame's going to get their ass kicked, Andy.
Yes, they are. I love Notre Dame. For people who love Notre Dame too, turn around and say this with me. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to put on Rudy. We're going to put on Rudy. And everything's fine. Everything is fine. Mm-hmm. Just put on your favorite 1988 championship moment. Watch Rocket Ishmael tear it up against Miami. Replay that game when he ran 2 kicks back against Michigan. Rewatch Florida State Notre Dame from 93. Those are our highlights. At 4:15 in Dallas, it's not. And I love the Irish. They don't have a chance.
No, they do not.
I love them.
I do not love them, and they do not have a chance.
None. 0. I think Alabama, they've scored already. They're that good. It's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, they're not even in the conversation of where we're at, of what we got going on here with Ohio State, Clemson, and then the Browns.
Alabama's playing Notre Dame, and no one's fucking talking about it because they all know the result. There is no cliff notes. There is no spoiler. The game is already over. And
let me ask you then, who you got, Ohio State or Clemson?
Okay. Something tells me Ohio State's going to really play out for this game. If I'm a gambler, which I can be, I would stay far away from this game. I would not sniff it because Clemson is that team that flips a switch. They have something in them. They can play that needle well. They don't mind being what we call the villain. In WWF in the 80s and 90s before they got all mixed up, there was a villain. It's Hulk Hogan versus Iron Sheik. It's, Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man King Savage. In this case, it's Ohio State versus Clemson. Mm-hmm. And most people are going to be cheering for Ohio State. Because Clemson is it's hard to cheer for them.
No, I agree. Yeah. Look, Justin Fields made a couple comments this week. He's ready. So he said he's been playing his butt off. He's prepped for this game. So I think it's going to be fun. I want to say I want Ohio State to win. I'm just nervous. They did only play 6 games, that is something. Look, I don't want to give Dabo any credit, but that is a reality. They played double, if not, they played almost double the amount of games. And so you do have to kind of wonder about that, if that's going to be in their favor or not.
Yeah.
And you can make arguments on each side.
Well, let's do Brown Steelers then. I can't believe this. We're going to push it aside for a second. Let's keep going down this road. Here's the key thing about this game people need to remember. There's a lot about history in sports, and Ohio State's got a lot of fantastic history. And if you are Coach Day, you have to drum up this message of there's a lot of alums who have not beaten Clemson. Clemson's now 4-0 against the Buckeyes. It is time to reverse that switch. This has a lot of impact beyond one game. This goes to recruiting. If Ohio State loses again to Clemson, Clemson can go on any big recruit who have the same 5 teams. Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Ohio State. And that was when he goes, we beat Ohio State 4 straight times. Not 5. Coach Day, it goes much bigger than this game. It's a lot. By the way, if people forget, Chris Olave ran the wrong route to end the year and it was thrown as an interception in the game. Ohio State almost won that game last year. There's a lot on stake at this game. There's a lot. LSU. Clemson is so widely talented. Trevor Lawrence is wonderful. ATN's wonderful. They have speed at every position. The middle linebacker, 47, is very talented, and they're cocky. Clemson is cocky. That's a C for Clemson and C for cocky. They are cocky. They remind me of the Miami Hurricanes in the 80s. They do not mind it. They will rub your nose in it.
And they're annoying. When you're good and you're annoying, that's the recipe right there. And they're both.
They are. They're fast. They're talented. And they're everything you hate about sports. Clemson has not played well. And then they rolled out a bet in the ACC championship game going, all right, we're ready to play now.
Yeah.
And they just kicked Notre Dame's ass. They did. That was the worst game. Because as an Irish fan, you're like, okay, they haven't played well all year. Maybe this is it. Maybe just Clemson's just not ready for this game. And I could tell within 2 drives. I was like, they're back. Mm-hmm. And we're done.
And back and forth.
Yes.
I don't believe for a second that it won't be. So
no, I think it's a very close game. I really want to take Ohio State. I'm leaning to I would take Clemson. Just because I think Trevor Lawrence is that great of a player. And when you have the Tim Tebows, you have those special quarterbacks out there. Tony Rice for Notre Dame in the 80s and 90s. Tommy Frazier for Nebraska. Tim Tebow in Florida. Trevor Lawrence is fitting that mold where he just seems to win big games in big spots. Yep. And I got to be honest, I kind of think that's what's going to happen here. Now, if Justin Fields has recovered and Trey Sermon can do what he does and Olave rises up, there is a lot. I'm a big believer in that storytelling mentality. Ohio State is coming in the best. They didn't look sharp against Northwestern. Northwestern isn't a sexy team. I know we know as Midwesterners how good Northwestern is. To Clemson, they're like, Northwestern? Yeah, so like they don't care. They think that's laughable, okay? Right. But that's perfect for Ohio State. They come in looking disheveled. They got COVID-19 issues everywhere. Even the coach got it. It looks like a disheveled mess. They're rankled because they're not respect. It's everything you want in sports. It's actually great positioning for Ohio State. So because of that, I think and actually to be fair, Holly's right. They haven't played a lot of games. Ohio State's very good. They're very, very talented. And they played just towards the end. They had starts and stops. To be fair to Justin Fields, they were supposed to play Michigan. That game got canceled. Then they played in this Big Ten championship game. Half your team's fucking missing, it felt like. You don't have Chris Olave. It just kind of it's hard. Ohio State, what makes this game so hard from a gambler, forget us as fans, gambler, you can't get a true take to what Holly said. They played 6 games. It's really hard to get a sense of how good Ohio State is. You just don't know. I have a vibe for Clemson. So because I'm taking Clemson, but I know Ohio State is much better than what they showed against Northwestern. Much better. Much better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, like I said, you just did. You can make arguments on both ends of that 6 game. They're certainly fresher, right? They're probably healthier in that standpoint. You also can look at it in the sense of that they have not played enough. They have not had the experience. And, and my fear with all of this too, is that if Ohio State does win, Dabo and a lot of the Clemson fans are going to say, it was an asterisk win, the COVID 2020, there's just going to be left and right fucking excuses if they win. And that's pretty nauseating too. So, I want to say that they're going to win. I hope that they do. I just know what will come with it. Not that Ohio State's really going to give a shit at the end of the day, but when it's all said and done. But we'll see. I'm with you though on the Clemson thing. I just Trevor Lawrence, what they've been able to do. I'm hoping for a Buckeye win, and I am Ohio State fan. I'm not a crazy Ohio State fan. I didn't go to Ohio State. I do think there's a big Like if you didn't go to school there, like it's really hard. I'm one of those too. Like I didn't go to school there, but a lot of my good friends did, and I love cheering for Ohio State. They were the only winning football product we've had in Ohio for however long up until now. So as much as I'm excited about this, I am way more excited about this Browns-Steelers game.
It's a good transition. I'm going to leave on this note. I want to get to Browns-Steelers forever. I want to remind you again, there's a lot of pride in this game. If you're an Ohio State fan, it is time to beat Clemson. I was born in Cleveland, but I grew up in my latter years in Columbus. I grew up right down the road from High Street, so I know Ohio State way too well. Mm-hmm. This game has extra spunk. If you, as Holly is, and there's many other of my friends who I talked to this week, they have said it. I cannot wait to shut Dabo Swinney up with a lot of bad expletives. They are tired of losing to Clemson. And for what he's doing in these press conferences. And Miss Wetzel just hit them all. It's annoying. And you know what's also? The Ohio State and Clemson aren't that far away. These games, except for 138-0 blowout, every game's been close. What is irking, though, if you're a Buckeye fan, is they're 0-4. Woody and Coach Meyer, too. It's a lot. It's a lot. It makes this game fun. It makes it, again, like, I love Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame, Alabama, and that is by far the second place game on January 1. It's not even close.
Oh, yeah.
The big boy is at 8 o'clock. The big boy's at 8 o'clock. By the way, I want to also say I hope Kirk Herbstreit's feeling better. I heard he got coronavirus. Sorry to hear that, Kurt. Hope everything's well. He's going to be doing it from the telecast at his home. He's also torn in that game. He is an Ohio State Buckeye, but his kid goes to Clemson. So that's a tough game for Kirk to do. And on top of having COVID, so hopefully Kirk's getting better. I agree with Wetzel. I think everybody's feeling the same way. It's a lot of hope and wishes. If there wasn't Trevor Lawrence, I would definitely be gearing up towards taking the Buckeyes, but I think Trevor Lawrence is too much. He's such a winner. And I've learned in these spots. It really, really, really is. EJ Scalata, a good friend of both shows, Cleveland and Beyond and Set the Edge. While you're on a Ohio State subject, what are your thoughts on Urban going to NFL? I'll take this one first as I kind of work with the guy. And I will just say this from what I can tell, and he doesn't tell me anything, nothing. So this is just pure gut. But here's my gut. I think he's really thinking about it. I think he's going to really talk to his wife, and they're going to make a decision together on what they want to do. And I think that's that. I don't think he knows. I think they're going to have to consult. They're going to talk about it as a family, as anybody should. But I'm really meaning that. Like, he's not dictatorial. He's not making a dictator relationship. He wants to really do what's best for him and his family. Mm-hmm. I think if he does want to go, does he want Jacksonville? Not too far from Gainesville. You're going to get Trevor Lawrence. Not crazy. Mm-hmm. Not crazy. Do you take the Jets job? I know that sounds silly to people from Ohio. I live out here. If you were ever turned to Jets, you'd be the king of New York. You'd be the king of New York.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Jets fans who are very disgruntled. And if you could turn that around, that'd be a big crown. Texans aren't bad either. They got Deshaun Watson. I see 3 good gigs for Coach. I do. EJ Scalata. That's where I thought. I thought New York. I really think at the end of the day, the tough one's Jacksonville. Because if you get Trevor Lawrence, that's tempting. That's tempting.
Yeah, well, what's going on with his health issues? I mean, not that there's anything. I mean, but that was a big reason why he, stepped down from Ohio State, which I have my own theories also on why he stepped down, but I don't think it was all about his health issues, obviously, with all the scandal stuff. But I mean, that's got to be a factor. If that was a factor before, it should technically always be a factor unless he's completely healed and we just don't know.
I think Coach had a lot going on, and I think there's always in life, in any decision you make, job, relationships, and he had a lot of relationships at Ohio State. It's not just, hey, he simply had health issues. I agree with Holly. There's a lot of mental strain there and a lot of things that went on off the field that really preoccupied Coach. I can't speak to his health. I don't know. I know he does have some health issues. I don't know. I'll say this, though. If you're ever going to do it, Jacksonville or New York is tempting. Yeah. It's very, very tempting. I'll leave it there. Manny Blasdale, love Manny. Manny, hello from North Carolina, Big Dookie. COVID messed up my plans for Sunday. Ended up reselling my tickets. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. If I did not have to do so much stuff, I would have gone to the Browns Steelers game. I would have gone.
I mean, I'd go. Does anybody need a +1? Let me know. No, it's gonna be a huge game. I mean,
huge.
For sure.
Steel Blitz Mason revenge game. Oh boy, look, Steel Blitz. Let me just tell you this right now.
I don't want that.
I'm gonna just tell you this. This is like we just said now. Let's transition. This is the nerve-wracking game for the Browns. If you're a Steeler fan, you should be tweeting shit like that. Because you know what? You don't have to fucking win the game.
Right.
If you lose, you're supposed to lose. It's
right.
the best thing in sports when you walk into somewhere. It's like, if we win, we win. If we lose, it's all right. Whatever.
Doesn't matter.
It's such a different story when you're us Browns fans. We can't lose that game. Period. End of fucking sentence. And it's the same thing as Clemson, but much deeper, much deeper. This has been 20 years of hell. And the Steelers did the right thing in voting down the move, and we always thank them for that. Outside that, it's been a hell of a one-way relationship. It's been awful.
44-6 since 1999.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
44-6 since 1999. The record.
44-6.
That's why. So Andy, I think this game is way bigger. Just the everything about it, everything leading up, and I went back and forth about whether or not I'm happy or not. That I know you're really happy that Mason's playing.
I am.
I'm happy in the sense of sure talent wise, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't ever want to count out the Steelers, and I know it's not just going to be Baker versus Mason. I mean, there's a lot of factors that are going to be going into this game. There's going to be a lot of eyes on Miles. I worry about Miles too. His own health hasn't been all that great since he had COVID. Look, we're going to get our guys back. It's just I don't want to go in there and just go any type of overly confident or any type of overly because they're still the Steelers. We, our history with them is clear. And there's gonna be a lot of factors going into Sunday. And everyone better just fucking keep to themselves these next couple days. Don't be doing anything stupid. Don't be going in hot tubs together.
No.
Just stay home, watch the ball drop. All right. If I see you out at White Oaks where I'm going, we're going to have a problem, just don't stay home. So we don't have any of these other issues. Until we are on that field on Sunday. Well, I just feel like, all right, I'm ready to go. I saw Baker's presser this week. He is clearly on fire. He is right. He's angry. He's pissed off. He's annoyed. He's like, it's like he doesn't even want to be there. He just wants to get the fuck out and just go and get, and I think they're going to practice tonight because everything opened back up tonight. Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm still nervous though. I still am. And I can't shake it. And that's being a Browns fan for as long as I can remember and knowing what we've went through.
We've been through a lot. Manny Blasdale, there's no starting safeties this week. That's why Holly Wetzel said it. Don't go out. Wives, girlfriends, friends of friends, mothers, dads.
Hide your football players.
Go to the dollar store, get some fucking duct tape, and duct tape their fucking asses to the seats. Tell them you can do whatever you want to in the house. Whatever you want. You want to play on PlayStation all night? You go. You're not going to White Oaks. You're not going to the 9. And you're not going.
I'm not going to the 9, by the way.
No.
Yeah, but
no.
Right, exactly.
No. No. I just want to elaborate. This 44-6. It's funny. I put that in a rundown, and until you said, I'm like, 40.
Pull that right out.
And 6, yeah. This rivalry, I just want to go into it real quick, is so deep. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Manny Blasdale. I want to bring you on and just be my PR champ. Thank you. I'll do comedy all night. I'll probably be doing comedy tomorrow night, all night on Instagram. Comedy. If anybody wants to listen. Just testing out shit. Throwing it out there on the wall. This game has a long history. Chuck Noll, remember him? He's from Cleveland. Bill Cowher, remember him? He's from Cleveland. Marty Schottenheimer, we all love him. Marty's from Pittsburgh. There's a lot of these kind of connections in this rivalry. Go look it up. There's a great article or two about this rivalry. And we talked about ruining the move. There's a lot. It's the closest mileage between two teams in the league. So this is a big, deep rivalry. And because Big Ben, who's not playing, is from fucking Findlay, Ohio. And yes, he put it out there. He was not rooting for the Browns growing up. And yes, the Browns passed on him. And that irked him. And that also irks in this game. Now, he's not playing, but that also irks us as fans. This game has got so much juice. And then we couldn't beat them in the playoffs in 95. In that fucking awful collapse in 2003. It adds to this. Holly's right. I understand why I've heard other people saying I like Mason Rudolph being there. And here's why. We need to win that fucking game. This season's not a success if the Browns lose. I'm sorry. I know it's harsh to say. And there's things that have been put on track. Browns need to win this game. It's time.
If they win this game, nobody's going to be talking about the Jets' loss.
That's right. That's bingo. Great job.
But if they lose, that's all we're going to be talking about.
There's going to be these phrases and T-shirts. Hot tub time machine. What do? You know it. You know it. We and GVR right now is probably stealing it from me. I want copyright. I'm telling you right now.
God,
I know. And let's go down a road for a second. I'm just going to veer down a road. Haven't we learned from staph infections? Haven't we learned from other germs and bacteria and viruses? I know this is I'm around the sports law, and so is Holly. You are not supposed to be in a hot tub together with a bunch of athletes after a workout anyways. You know why? Because you can spread germs. And during a COVID pandemic,
they're gross after practice and stuff. I've been in the NFL locker room before. It's disgusting.
Smells. Major League Soccer, hockey, and football.
Hockey is
probably
the worst.
Soccer is really bad. Soccer is.
I've been in a soccer one, so
they run, and they run a lot. EJ Scalata doing a good job tonight. Remember at Camp Fitch when they tapped the tops of the doors to keep everyone from sneaking out? Do that. That might be. You know exactly what you're talking about. Whatever it takes. Manny Blasdale on Facebook. Ben has won more games in Cleveland than any other quarterback since he's been in the league. That actually has changed. Baker Mayfield is now the leader.
Baker finally broke that this year. Thank God.
Manny, so good news. You can take that down off your door. We got our guy. This game's got a lot of meaning. And yes, Mason Rudolph playing against Myles Garrett should be somewhat of a subplot. But for all honest, that's kind of moved on. And Holly teed it up, so I don't want to steal her thunder, but I'm going to give a little bit into it. What was done in that game, it was appropriate. You cannot swing a helmet. It was bad. And I actually agreed with everything else that went on. But we got to remember there's a lot of backstory about why that play happened. And I believe in Myles Garrett about what was out in the field. And I think I believe him. I will. We weren't there. We don't know anything else, but I do believe him. And I do think, Holly, that plays an interest in this game. I just do.
Yeah. I agree. And I think, look, it doesn't excuse anything. I was pretty vocal last year when he did that. As much as I love Myles, I was like, you can't, that's assault.
Can't do that.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
no matter what. And that's sad. And unfortunately and look, I'm not an African-American male, and I can't imagine what that would be like to hear that. And so it's hard for me to even try to not justify what his reaction was. So I feel for him. And I think his character is something to be spoken about very highly. I mean, he's done some really great things, and no, he has no history of that. So I believe him 100%. I don't know why we wouldn't. I think do I think the league had something to do with that? Of course, obviously they did.
Of course.
And we can't keep going back, and I do hope that we are going to move forward from it. And I know that Myles is going to be on his best fucking behavior. I know it.
Question. There's no question. And by the way, I don't think
I don't trust Mason Rudolph though either, and I don't trust him to not look. You hope that it's over with, but there was a couple comments that Big Ben made. He was asked about Mason, and he kind of went on and on about how Mason can kind of either take it two ways. He can put it behind him and treat it like a typical quarterback that has to have a short-term memory and go out and be like, whatever happened last year. This was a quote. Mm-hmm. He said, there's going to be a lot of hoopla made about it. Put it out of your mind and focus on this year, this game, this team. right? You would think that would be the right. Or he says you could take it as motivation that you want to go out and put it on them and help them win the football game. It's really how each man individually wants to approach it. I know from talking to Mason and knowing Mason that he wants to go out and win this football game, and he is going to do everything he can to do that for this team.
Sure.
So I just, the second quote of that makes me a little nervous about just, he's going to take it as motivation. And what motivation? And I'm hoping that it's a clean motivation.
I just think, and you're right, I'm going to reverse it into what you're saying. And now that's very fair for what Ben said and why you're worried. I understand. What Six did after the Jets game, what Baker said in that 2-minute 15 thing. It wasn't Tim Tebow, the promise.
Mm-hmm.
Where for people who haven't seen him, Tim Tebow after he lost to Ole Miss made a promise that they weren't going to lose again. They ended up winning the national championship. That was sick. I love that in sports. I love when guys do that and they put their money where their mouth is and they close. I don't think it was that, but I thought Baker was pretty close to that, where he goes, "Look, I'm fucking pissed off, and I'm just gonna go off on a rant, and I'm gonna end the press conference because I know what this was fucked up. We fucked up against the Jets, and we got this next week." He didn't come out and say that, but he was there on the mark. To what Holly and I witnessed today, I texted her, I'm like, "You gotta check out Baker's press conference." We can debate. There are some moments where I would tell him I would not have said that or do that, but here's what I do like. I like his attitude, and I like his edge that he has, because he realizes, look, he's had a great year. He's proven a lot. I will say this, he's all of our quarterbacks. I want to see him back next year. However, to what Holly alluded to, it actually goes not just on to Myles Garrett. It goes on to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield needs to win this game. Kevin Stefanski, great coach. I want him here next year. He's got to win this game.
Right.
Myles Garrett needs to win this game. There's some guys need to win this game.
They all got to be on. Especially after just and look, I know that we had our wide receivers out last week, but that Jets game was.
What the fuck was that? Let's relive that for a second.
I got a lot of shit on Twitter, but I tweeted, ball was thrown 53 times, and we got 4 wide receivers out, and I don't care, and I know, and I got a lot of shit about. They were stacking the box, and I got all this shit.
No, they weren't.
They came out running in the beginning. The first 3 were throws, 3 and out.
Yes. And they were uncomfortable.
We didn't even try to establish a run game at all.
Holly Wetzel was right. Holly Wetzel's very smart. Holly Wetzel knows shit. Because that's what I said too. 3 passes to start the game? Question mark?
And with our dynamic duo, they're not going to eventually run those guys down. Look, it's still the fucking Jets, right? It's still.
Have Andy Danovich. Get the fullback in the game. Get Kareem Hunt in the game. If you don't trust your line of 5, get an extra offensive lineman in the game and help block. Put 2 or. I am so with Holly. Was everybody excited about Bradley coming across? That's right. Remember Bradley coming across the middle for big catches? By the way, that guy played his guts out, and he was gassed, and he did the best he could, and he didn't.
I don't blame those guys at all. But it was on Kevin Stefanski, Baker. Yes. He had those fumbles. His throwing was terrible too. He was overthrowing again. It was all of it that went wrong. There's no other way around it. And I liked Baker in the end. Look, he took full responsibility as he should. He's the leader of that team. He's the quarterback. You take all responsibility for that. So I'm glad that he did. But we were outcoached. And
everybody admitted as much after the game. Everybody admitted as much.
Yep. Right.
When you have a Pro Bowl running back and a guy who was a former All-Pro running back, and you have one of the best fullbacks in the game, run the fucking ball. Run the ball.
That's what we're a Baker said in his press conference, he's like, we are a fundamental football team, and that's what we do best.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Then do it.
Do it.
Against the shitty Jets. So I'm smart tonight.
I like it. Spunky. It's fun. Look, here's what Holly's right. Oh, God, she's making 2 good points here again. This game, no, you make a lot of good points, but there's 2 that you really hit on me that I didn't think about. This Jets game gets forgotten once you win. You know what we say? Holly and I will get cocktails someday. Be like, I remember that stupid Jets game. That was weird. Or it's hot tub time machine t-shirts. We all can also say, too, you know what? Myles Garrett came full circle. He played a great game, and they defeated Mason Rudolph and the Steelers in a must-win game to go in the playoffs. Or they lose, and more of that moment will get brought up again and again and again and again.
And then our fate lies on other teams, which
Look, let's just call it. The Browns lose the Steelers, Mason Rudolph. Do we deserve to go to the playoffs?
no, we don't. And then it's going to take into question a lot again with Baker. It's going to take into question all that shit. So let's not even do that. Let's just win.
Is anybody excited about Set the Edge draft preview show next week? No?
No. Right. We aren't, because it's not happening. We're not doing it.
No. Not in the cards. Not in the plans. Look, this game, I know there's been a lot of people, is a success. It's a successful season in some aspects, but no, if you lose to the Steelers like this, no, it isn't. I'm sorry. This is a rivalry game. This is different. This is a different game. I love this team this year. I've loved everything they've gone. There's one thing. They're 0-3 against the Ravens and Steelers right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to fucking beat the Steelers. Right. Sorry. Time to fucking beat the Steelers.
It is. And Baker, I was reading an article about kind of where the Browns' strengths lie, and it was about this definitely the strength in the red zone. And one of the little factors I was reading about was that if Mayfield doesn't turn the ball over in the red zone, we win. Yeah. Because of how good they are in the red zone. They have a 74% touching scoring percentage within 20 yards.
I read the same article you did in Cleveland.com. There was a great
Thank you. I couldn't remember where I read that.
Yep. Cleveland.com did a great job. I read the same article and I meant to put it in the rundown. I didn't. The reason why the Browns have had such a good high proponency of winning the way they have is and I think this is quotable. And I don't like analytics sometimes and how it rates things, but I thought this one was right on the money. The red zone efficiency for the Browns is not just good, it's lethal. That's how they call it in the article, and I agree, because they're not only are they scoring touchdowns. And that's been the biggest difference. And man, oh man.
Yeah, they're scoring touchdowns at a 90% clip over their past 4 games inside the red zone. That was one really that's huge. Really, really, really good.
Manny Blasdell again. No damn quarterback sneeze. Jesus Christ. High five.
You're right. Yes, Manny.
High five. Let me just state this one more time. You have Andy Janovich, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
On short yard situations, you should see all 3 of those guys, or Andy Janovich leading Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt to the first down. Every time. It shouldn't be shotgun, shouldn't be empty set. No. Because Baker, a few times even before the Jets game, had been loose with the football. And we forget he fumbled against the Titans as well towards the end of that game. He's had this issue before. This isn't new. I agree. And by the way, that's on Stefanski now, not on Baker. It's not the first time he's fumbled. Kevin Atkins, good friend of the show too. Hello, Kevin. Good night. I hope you're doing well. I hate the thought of playing the Steelers 2 weeks in a row, but I love to play the Steelers 2 weeks in a row. Kevin, I'm with you.
100%. Same.
I actually will play a little devil's advocate, and it will. If the Browns win this game, they play the Steelers, actually the pressure and momentum totally flips. Because not only will the Steelers be the favorite, which is obviously a little bit of pressure on the other team, but this is Big Ben's last run. You really don't know what's going to happen next year. I know he's coming back, but the Steelers have to win big things this year. So all that pressure it's on the Browns, it all goes to Ketchup Stadium. All of it. Yeah. And the year of go for it.
No, I was just going to say, well, so if the Browns do win for the first round, they're probably going to play the Bills, right? Is that
Bills or Steelers?
Oh, it will be the Bills or Steelers. Okay.
More than likely. It's going to take a minor miracle. I don't remember why. To play the Titans a lot, or Titans or Colts. Now, the Titans or Colts are still just deciding the South, too. So let's say it's one of those 2 teams. A lot of things have to happen, and it's just, I don't think it's going to break right. But the Bills and the Steelers, it looks like it's one of those 2. And it was announced today. I don't know what they said in Pittsburgh, but in Buffalo, they're going to allow 12,000 for the playoff game. So the Bills will. And by the way, I'm a Browns fan, true and true, and I hate every AFC team. I must admit, a little bit. I do like to see the Bills do good. I don't.
love to see. Look, they're so like us. They're going to be hosting their
Yeah.
first playoff game. I think I saw in like 25 years. Like
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's great for the. I know a good chunk of Bills fans, and I'm really excited for them. I think it's awesome. Too. I think it's fun to see other teams get up and rise up. That's the whole point of this. The whole point of the league when drafting. Right, we're finally getting our chance after ever many years.
Is anybody sad about the Patriots not making it? Anybody? No. No.
Good riddance. You know.
Fuck them.
But I'm glad there's new blood. Let's and that's what I love about the NFL too, because it's not always these big. Look at the big teams. Look at the Jets and the Giants. I mean, look, the Giants had a couple, good games there in the end, but New York's not doing shit, right? It's in the NFL is just one of those leagues that it doesn't matter where you're playing.
It's good. It gets tiresome when the Spurs, when they were on a run, goes every year. It's tiresome when the Yankees and Red Sox and Cardinals are there every year. And they are there every year. When you're outside too, and you see every year, it's like, it's a chalk walk. For the last few years, it's a chalk walk. It's like Ravens, Steelers, Pats for sure, throwing yada yada. The only forgiven this year to me was the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the one given. Outside of that, though, I agree with Holly. It was a lot more fun. It was good. Like, even the Texans, they're not in. And people remember, they've made the playoffs quite a bit lately. They're not in this year either. They're out. So it's good to see new teams in. It's good to see that stuff. And that's why I feel good for the Bills. Now, if we play the Bills, fuck them. We got to beat them. Sorry.
Well,
you're going to come in and
but it's fun right now. I'm happy for them, and I think it's great. I think it's great for the league and for their fans. So. And
they're great fans. Bills Mafia. If there's ever a challenge for crazy stunts before a game, I think the Muni Lot and Bills Mafia would have a good horse race.
Oh God! Can you even imagine what Sunday would look like tailgating in Cleveland?
For people who have seen the video, I would not be going near any buckets
or jumping on any tables.
Bills Mafia. Did you see that video last year? There's a guy for Bills Mafia who did a backflip on the table.
They're idiots. Oh, God.
And knocked himself out. And then there's, of course, our Browns fans who dumped a bucket of piss on his head. So
only in Cleveland.
Only in Cleveland. That was during the 1-17 year.
Yeah.
You can imagine what happens when you actually go to the playoffs. might be all sorts of things.
I do think though that if they do make the playoffs, I think downtowns. I think they're going to get people are going to start getting fined. There's going to be people all over the place. There's going to be tailgates. People are not going to give a shit. I just know it, and I don't know if I. You're going
to start seeing some entertaining mask selfies. Is what I would say.
But man, that would be so much fun.
Oh, it for everything that's gone so wrong in 2020, it would be so right for the Browns to make the playoffs.
It would be a very funny thing. It just would. So.
And that's why it's ironic this game's being played in 2021. And that it is kind of like we've gone through the full circumference of the Browns where it's unpredictable. Like, let's go back again. Did anybody fucking think that was going to happen? That was such a bizarre. I was texting Holly and Jared and other people throughout the day. And I remember it was like, okay, there seems to be some sort of COVID thing. Okay, one player's out. BJ Goodson. Oh my God, there's more. Oh my God, there's more. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And rightfully so. Everybody was way more confident. And I mean, I was listening to some pregame interviews and like a couple local media were on talking about it doesn't matter. We're going to win. Like we're going to win by a couple touchdowns. I mean, high score. And it was like.
No one had the Jets. No one. Locally, nationally, they were laughing at the ESPN desk.
Well, because they did think that they were going to go on the run game.
We all did.
Even our passing game, I get like when we were down, we started passing. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. But we didn't come out of the gate with that, so it still doesn't make any sense to me. And he didn't want to change his game plan. Whatever. You got to have 18 fucking game plans right now in a COVID year. You do. And if we got to expand the roster next year, with however many guys that we can add on, they're adding weeks. Whatever they got to do to be a little bit more prepared so teams aren't bitching about the fact that they didn't have time. I mean, you got to come up with a couple different game plans.
I'm ready to go down this road now. Here's the one thing about analytics I'm starting to know that I don't like. When it goes wrong, it can go off the rails really bad. And I would actually point out the Raiders game, and I'll also point out the Ravens game start off the year. Steeler game, I think the whole thing was set up by an interception, pick six, and the way we go. So I don't know how much analytics played.
Yeah.
But in the Raiders game, there's weather. And you could tell they were fighting the weather the entire game. Yep. That's going to be a reference point. They kept fighting weather. It's like, but if it's not good for throwing, why are we not running more? Just take advantage of the weather. And to Holly's point, and I do love Stefanski, and he's our guy. And I do think he makes improvements. And do I think he'll make adjustments? I do. I really believe in him. So, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that to be said, you could tell 2 series in, fuck, we're not ready for anything. Like, we're just not. Because I kept saying the same thing. I'm like, are we really throwing the ball to, what's his name again? Hall and what's his name?
Bradley.
And what's Willie's? Remember him? Oh my God, Willie's was playing. Like, I mean, you're looking at guys' names on a roster. You're really doing the fucking major league thing. Like, who are these fucking guys?
Yep.
Give the ball again.
Right. And we can complain about it now because we like to complain about it because it gives us obviously something to talk about too. But again, as long as, like you said, Stefanski makes adjustments, and he does. He's been really good at that. So let's hope we're just right back on track, and we're going to get this win, and we're going to just prepare.
Stefanski, I know you're watching the show. You got to win that fucking game, dude. We love you. You got to win that fucking game. Okay? We cannot do Cleveland and Beyond Set the Edge next week. I can't do it. Can't. It'll be 45 minutes about Cavs.
I know.
I can't do it. I can't.
Can't do it.
No, I don't want to analyze press conferences and closing. Oh no.
Do you want to talk, by the way, a little bit about Cavs?
Yes. Real quickly though. Then we're transitioning to the Cavs.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But one more. I want to do one more thing. This game is different. The Steeler game is very different. I just want to make this a point again. It's a different game. If this were the Chiefs or the Pats, or I don't know, put in said team from anywhere, it'd be okay. Yeah, well, but the Ravens and specifically the Steelers, it's different. It's different. Okay? It just is. It sucks. We hate them, and they don't really like us. And we respect them, but we really want to fucking take them out. Okay? It adds to the game. Add in Mason Rudolph. Add in all the shit that we've been going through the last 44-6 hell of 50 years. It's time to win a big game against the black and yellow. Please. And I do think they'll win. They got it.
I do too. I think they'll win. I'm just a little nervous. I'm just trying to be realistic.
I wouldn't bet it, but they'll win. Wouldn't put any money on it. But they'll win. I like the new Cavs. I like the new uniforms.
You do? I don't, but it's fine. Teach their own. I don't like the new look at all.
I love Wetzel. Wetzel's very funny. I don't think what?
Doesn't do it for me, but whatever. I don't know if this is part of their new creative director stuff or, they hired a creative director, which I actually think is a very cool thing. Did you know that they hired a creative? I think that's awesome. So I'm all about that. I think that's really cool. I don't think this was them, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was like a playoff again of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like, look, I know that's like our signature thing, but it is kind of old. It's just
the Holly Wetzel. I've seen many people do the eye roll. That's funny. She's like, look, I'm just going to say it. We need to say it. We love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Cleveland's more than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like the Statue of Liberty in New York. It's been played. Let's pick something else.
There's other things, but I think otherwise, I mean, let's talking about what's on the court, right? I mean, it's been really fun first couple of games of the season.
They're spunky. They're not healthy either. This is not Okuro still out. He's on the COVID protected list. I don't know if he's tested positive for COVID, but he also twisted an ankle. Kevin Love's going to be out with a strained calf for probably a month or so, a month at the least, longer. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we will.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said. I thought you said something else. Do I think we'll miss?
Will we miss him?
I hate to say it. I've been defending this. I thought he looked really old the other night.
Yeah, it's just he just seems disinterested.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I felt the same way.
It's just not. Look, he's got a lot of things going on outside of basketball, and I just feel that's where he seems to maybe be putting more of his energy into, and that's okay. That's fine. He's done some really, really awesome things for mental health and awareness, and I'm super proud to have been a Cavs fan and have him play for the Cavs because of that too. And but I don't know. I started last year, obviously, even though it was short, and this year it's just the interest level for him has just seemed to wane.
I want to see him healthy, but in the Pistons game specifically, I thought he looked out of it. Mm-hmm. I really thought at times he just looked like he was a sore thumb. He just looked out of place. I thought he did not at home, but again, he didn't play very long and he got hurt. Yeah. So I know where Holly's going. I will say I think you're going to feel Okoro, and I'm hoping he's doing better. And I know he's had a lot going on off the court. Kevin Porter Jr., they've been lucky so far. It's not cost them games. They need to get him back on the court, though. They're going to win throughout the season.
Yep.
They do. They need to do it. And there's a lot that's going on with him off, and I applaud the Cavs. They are doing the right thing. They aren't even hiding it. They're saying he is off the court right now because he needs to get his shit together. Mm-hmm. I think that's really smart. And I really hope he is getting his stuff together because it's just for the better mental health of the society and team. And that's a good thing. I applaud the Cavs. They are doing the right thing. When a lot of times I don't see professional teams or collegiate teams doing that, I applaud the Cavs. That's right. Because that'd be an easy thing to be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. But if they think there's more going on and he gets his stuff together, then good. Get his stuff together. Good. Yep. I really, really applaud that. So anyways, I just wanted to get that out there. The Cavs are a very, very good passing team. I know people said they're like, what? If you really watch the Cavs, though, they really do play hard. They play the ball. They play the game right way. And they're very fun to watch.
Playing the defense, too.
They are. The thing that's nice is they're very interchangeable, and I'm burying the lead. Garland has had a great start to the year. He did not play well last night. Finally had a night to struggle, but he's been playing much, much better. And Chetty Osman coming off the bench is a huge difference. He needs to be coming off the bench. Really, really does better that way. Andre Drummond's playing great, and so is McGee. I mean, he's playing really well.
Absolutely. 100%. No, it's been fun. I mean, I know we took that all the other night, but it's been a fun start. And look, if they stay competitive and they just kind of keep this going enough where they have some really good stretches, and they're playing hard, that's all you can hope for this season. So I'm here for it.
I think people need to give it more in tune than what people want to give it to. It's really legitimate. It isn't just like they're off to a hot start and it's bullshit. You're seeing, and BJ and Bickerstaff deserves a lot of credit. Bickerstaff's done a great job so far.
Yeah, he's been great.
Once we get through football season, we'll do a lot more Cavs on here. We will, and obviously Indians too at some point, or baseball club, or whatever their name is. But for what it's worth right now, we are going to focus. You got to focus on football, but I'm glad Holly mentioned it. The Cavs are fun. I would suggest watching them. They're worth your time. Now, transitioning to what we always do into TV stuff. The NFL Network ratings plunge as the TV network slashing ad prices, which I found to be a surprising article. This came out 2 days ago. Scrambling to make advertisers happy, the TV ratings for National Football League this year have been so bad the networks are reportedly giving back prices and giving away commercial time to keep advertisers happy. I was surprised. I thought it was doing better. I guess in recent weeks, again, it's been down. I actually am there now. I am kind of curious, even from the NFL, not so much this year, but what does that mean in 2021? I still think they'll be okay, but I'm not as sure anymore. Sure.
There's a couple factors. You can look at there's the younger cord cutter fans that are only watching highlights. They're not watching the full games anymore, right? There's one.
Great point.
election year. Obviously,
Yes.
they're always down in election year, which we've talked about a million times, but that's always a major factor.
Yep.
And I think this is interesting to bring up. I read this in the Post. You know, they did a pretty large survey about why specifically, look, all sports ratings are down. And this doesn't really apply to, say, golf, because golf isn't doing any type of race relations type of programs or any type of coverage in that sense, right? Golf isn't. NBA, it's all over the NBA, the NFL for sure.
Baseball too.
And I think that then you look at, okay, Netflix is just, look, when the 1 year everyone's staying home, Netflix is killing it. I mean, just the Netflix CEO went from, his net worth grew from 2 billion to 6 billion this year alone. That's huge. And so I guess what I'm trying to put together is that sports has always been a form of entertainment. And I know I've brought this up before. People use entertainment as an escape, to escape their real lives, to escape what's really going on in the world, as a distraction. And when those worlds start to collide like that, and you start having those real world things enter some type of entertainment, is when things can kind of get a little muddy, and people may not want to watch that. And it doesn't mean that people don't care. It doesn't mean that people don't want to make things better and do what they can to fix these and help fix these issues. It's just a human nature that we all just need some type of mental break, I think. And I think that's what's kind of fueling that. And if I compare the Netflix to the NFL in that sense of, that's where people are going there because it's entertainment. And that's maybe why those numbers are up so high in this year, where you'd think people would sit at home watching sports all day. Again, does my argument hold up? I think with like I said, the golf, with the Masters ratings were down immensely.
Yep.
No. So, but you know, I do think though that entertainment level, I think that was what the Post article was about, of why really these sports ratings are down. And what could be possibly fueling that, and that might be it. And it's about Goodell looking at his audience and what works. If they're slashing these ad prices, like you said, they're giving back these rebates on carriage agreements, kind of, I think, using it as a act of God, the force majeure clause. So they're giving back money in games that they would have been charging, obviously, for a full season. Because a lot of those contracts, if they're a big enough cable provider or service provider, not even cable anymore, they're getting a guaranteed number of games. And so when that number's in there and you're not getting that number of games, you know, you're getting money back.
I think the biggest thing that Holly hit on is 2 or 3. One of them is cord cutting. The cord cutting has changed everything. And I'm going to put that into another one with the pandemic. People for sports were still gathering and getting great ratings at where? Bars, restaurants, people gathering around homes. None of that's happening. Sports is about community. Sports has a lot of fandom gathering. It's not just fandom around your TV. That's some of it, and that's most of us. There is a portion, though, who really don't really enjoy sports but love sports because it brings people together. And it keeps them chatting and it keeps them active. And when that's gone, that doesn't bring people together, then that's it.
Yep.
And I think that's been a big part of it, to be honest with you. When people, especially I think in any of these sports, like I do think a lot of people, why they come to sports is because it brings people together. And when you don't have that, it doesn't even have to be at the game. It could be at a bar. It could be at a restaurant. It could be at people's homes. I think that's played a major role. I really do. I think that's where a lot of this comes from. And golf is the one sport where it's very individualized. And it's really about hitting sticks, and it's elitist sport too. Not to be snobby, but it is. It's elitist sport. So a lot of those people they're golf fans. They're going to be golf fans forever. I just think this year is such an aberration. This is just another one. But where it's interesting and where we don't know and why we're bringing it up on here is it just a rubber ball? Does it really just bounce back? I do too, but I'll go a different step further. Maybe we'll do this on once the football season's over. What does this mean for local small bars, not just for sports, for bands, for music, for everything else, for concerts, for comedy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tough.
Look, it's sad. It's been a really tough year for a lot of people, especially local bars. and
It's been tough. It's been tough. And it goes much further than what people realize. It's not just food, it's community.
Yeah.
A lot of those people bring people together. It really, really, really is true. Anyways, so that's that. But yes, I agree. It's something to watch, and it is interesting how they're giving back. That's something I never thought would happen. And to be fair to the NFL, they've been on such a ride that at some point you do have to come down a little bit. For people who did not see, I'm not going to go big into this, but people should check it out. There was a huge jump. So where did all the money go? It went into retail. I was actually surprised by this. I did not think it was going to be a big year. Holiday sales were up from 3.6 to 5.2, posting a strong finish. And that is an extra $10 billion that industry. So people are still spending money.
Yes, they are. Which helps our economy. But yeah, I was shocked. I had read that like right after Black Friday, the Black Friday sales were up. And I happened to go out on Black Friday, which I wasn't really planning on, but I went out in the morning, probably like 10:30-ish. And it was like any other typical Saturday there. Like I was at Target and it wasn't even that bad. So I thought, people can't beat our people out, but online, man.
I went to do some late Christmas shopping about a week ago from today. The line was around the bend. It was all the way through. So yeah, shopping is still there. It's amazing. CNBC did a great breakdown of it. So it is, people are still spending money. Stimulus checks are, by the way, coming too, which is great for everybody's news. All right, so New Year's Eve. We're going to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I did find this interesting. I knew Holly, we talked about this right before we came on. Is anybody really watching these releases? Peace Out 2020. That's on Facebook. They're going to do that on Facebook Live tomorrow night. I will not be there. Holly Wetzel, will you be there to watch? No, I didn't think so. Will you be watching this on, let's see, I just clicked out of it. Here we go. A Yearly Departed. Actors and comedians showing up for Amazon specials. Does that tickle the fancy at all? No, me neither. And then there's a mockumentary style look back at the year. It's called Death to 2020, which I've seen in many articles. Death to 2020. But this is actually a mockumentary that's being done on, as Holly just said, the hottest place to go, Netflix. That's going to talk about all these different things, and it is getting a lot of rave reviews. I have no interest in any of these. Do you have any interest in Death to 2020?
No, I don't need to relive this year. Thanks very much. I replayed in my head way more than I probably fucking should. So no, I don't want to replay. I want to just probably erase this year. That would be nice. And because I don't need to see any replays. Nope. No, we're moving on. Moving forward. So no, death to you, person. I don't care. Can you tell them about sassy? Sorry.
I love it. Set the edge, sassy girl.
But it's like nobody. I mean, look, I get that's what they want to do. That's like it's timely. It's like, hey, woohoo, we're moving on. Like, nobody. It was a shitty year, and I don't want to look back. I want to look forward.
I was surprised with all three of these announcements. Facebook watches Peace Out 2020. Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Anne Hathaway. I get it. All right. There'll be some people clicking in. Sure. Death to 2020, a mockumentary style. It's like, really? Can we just get through it? I felt the same way you did. It's like,
I like watching the performances. I like watching the ball drop. Yeah. I like all that. Like I'm having a couple of my friends over. We're going to go to dinner and come back and, play games, have some drinks, champagne, watch the ball drop, and just, be with each other. That's what's, I think, and for me, is the most important thing. So, no mockumentaries for me.
99% sure I'll be virtually with people in and out throughout the day, probably with friends, everything else. I canceled my plans, which Holly knows, which I won't get into here. But if you ever want a good story, behind the scenes, Set the Edge will be a great, great, great show. We'll do it one of these days. But anyways, yes, I will not be watching any of these things. I was very, very surprised about this list. And there's a lot of promotion behind all of them. All of them getting a lot of promotion. Browns, Steelers, Buckeyes, Tigers. That should be getting the promotion. Let's get a couple more comments and let's say see you later to not only this, but the Set the Edge, which is a great episode. Of course, everybody's watching it. Speaking of golf, huge golfer here, EJ Scalata on Facebook. Did you see the Tiger and Son? I did, and that video was eerie.
Yes.
Eerie.
It was cool. Eerie in a good way. I mean, it was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. EJ, again, I want to see Anderson Cooper get shit-faced again on live television. I agree. I actually do like Anderson Cooper and Andy. I forget his last name.
Cohen.
Andy Cohen. I like those two. What was the other? I gotta admit, I like some of these comedians and stuff. I'd like to see a little bit of that this year. I would love to laugh. It'd be great to have some laughter in some of these shows.
I just want to look for, like, let's just have a good night. Like, I just want to be. I have a tradition these last couple of years with being with my people, and that's what I enjoy, and that's what I want to stick with.
Yes, and I do too. And usually I'm with people, or I'm always out. This year will be so weird, but I will be alone. I will bring it home hard and quick, and I'll will be definitely.
Virtually, Andy, I'll cheers you virtually.
Yes. I will cheers you virtually too. And everybody virtually on the show. Manny, EJ, everyone, Kevin Atkins, all of you. And I'll be drinking lots of Merlot at some point tomorrow night. And that'll be Merlot fun. I really, really hope good things for both of our teams. Irish, Browns, and of course Buckeyes. I did that just a tweak. Yeah, the Buckeyes.
Uh-huh.
We got this Bama. Bama who? Roll Irish. We got him. Gonna smoke them. We got them. We're gonna kick the ball off, and everything's gonna be fine. Cheers. That's right, EJ. Final thoughts, Wetzel. After talking through this therapeutically, are you feeling any better? I'm still very nervous, even though I have confidence in the Browns winning. I'm nervous about the Browns-Steelers game. That's how I'll leave today's show.
I do think they will win. I do. But I am nervous, and I don't think it's going to be as easy as maybe we think it is. But I have faith at this point that this is a different Browns team, so I'm going optimistic. First couple days of 2021.
Thank you for joining us on Set the Edge. Tomorrow morning, Jared and I will be doing much more in Cleveland and beyond. Official Cleveland sports channel for every after Cavs game. Holly will join me when she can. She's very busy. She's got lots of stuff going on, but no, I tease her because I love, so I tease. But we'll be doing post-game Cavs, and that'll be fun. And then all three of us will be doing post-game Indians, and that will be fun, and so on and so forth. And next week, we'll be previewing Steelers-Browns again from the playoffs, which will be great. You can feel it. You can feel the energy. EJ, I'll do my score prediction. I really think the Browns are going to win 30-13. I just think the Browns are that much better in this circumstance without Mason Rudolph. I'm a little more cocky, confident Browns fan than I should be. I just think at the end of the day, the Browns are going to really put the pedal to the metal by the third quarter. 30-13 Browns. Holly Wetzel, your prediction. Come on, you got one.
Yeah, I would say I'm right around that. I'd say 27-14 Browns. Let's do that.
Death to 2020 and death to the Steelers and Tigers and Tide. Have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a good time, and cling, cling, cheer, cheer. As we all know, Wetzel's drinking something fun, and I'm drinking my Smart Waters. I'm getting ready for tomorrow night. I'm getting ready.
I'm drinking, Andy, one of the beers you got me.
Ooh, which one?
George Lopez Brewing Apricot. Ooh. It's a hibiscus sour ale. But
is it good?
Really cool.
Ooh.
Right?
Those are cool. And the beer's good?
Yeah, it's good. Mm-hmm.
Apricot. That was a hell of a name. I
like
know.
fruity stuff, so.
Oh, my gosh. See, look at that. Look at that. Set the edge. Feeling the juju. Well. Next week, we're going to be talking Browns playoffs. You know it. Come on back here. Set the edge. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.